To get a better sense of how Kilis hopes to deal with the security challenges, I spoke with the region's Governor Mehmet Tekinarslan and asked him what measures were being taken.
First of all, I want to talk about the two people who died as a result of the PKK-PYD rocket attack on January 24th. May God rest their souls. Those who died in the mosque attack, one of them was a 27-year-old Syrian from Aleppo, and the other an 84-year-old Turk from Kilis. Tariq from Aleppo had been in a traffic accident, so he had an injured foot. Our uncle from Kilis was 84 years old, but his heart was young. They were going to the mosque, arm in arm, to pray, and the PYD murdered them both. There have been 23 rocket attacks since the operation started, and 27 citizens were wounded in these attacks. I also want to say, may God rest the souls of all terror victims globally. Operation Olive Branch started on the 20th of January. The sole objective of this operation is to clear our borders of the terrorists whose guns are turned on Turkish people. This operation is not a war. Turkey is not fighting against any state or any nation in this operation. We are fighting PKK-PYD terror groups who brutally kill people, children, and the elderly, and destroy the hopes and futures of innocent people. No state would survive without ensuring the security of its people. We do only what all states should do. Right after the operation started, on the night of January 21st, at 1:40 a.m., when people were innocently sleeping, PKK-PYD launched 7 rockets simultaneously. People were injured. Thank God we didn't lose anybody, but 8 people were injured and 1 is in critical condition. Out of 8 of the 9 days since the operation started, the PKK-PYD terrorists launched cross-border rocket attacks. They have immense destructive power. Let me show you which parts of our city were hit. This is the city center, where civilians live, and where there is no military units whatsoever. A rocket was launched from roughly this area. It's 15 to 20 kilometers southwest of our borders. They launched these attacks from Afrin, and we responded. The Turkish armed forces did what was necessary.
Just following up on that map, you were showing the city center has been attacked from that location, which is about 20 kilometers away from the center of Kilis on the other side. Are you surprised by the sophistication of these rockets and the capacity of the PKK?
We've known PKK-PYD terrorists for a very long time, and we know what kind of weapons they have. We also know that they have received more sophisticated weapons thanks to our allies pursuing their interests in the region by using these terrorists. So we are not surprised by how sophisticated their weapons are. We already knew that this terror organization is a killing machine. We have been emphasizing the necessity of fighting against this terror group for years. However, the states who should have supported us stayed silent. The night this operation started, this terror group was so prepared that they were able to launch numerous rocket attacks. If we hadn't started this operation, the results would have been serious. And they have tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of these weapons. I don't know. I think those who provide these weapons know better than I do. If a terrorist group is armed and deployed 8 to 9 kilometers from a city center and you see they are ready to attack, there's only one thing to do. You remove them. Imagine such a thing happening on the German-French border, or the Spanish-Portuguese border, or the Belgian-Netherlands border. Imagine a group with heavy weapons is waiting to attack 7 to 8 kilometers outside of Berlin. What would these countries do? Would they wait? Would they wait to die? Would they wait to let their people be slaughtered? Just to give you a sense of how destructive they can be, the PKK-PYD has launched 23 rocket attacks in only 8 days, compared to 90 rocket attacks by Daesh in 6 months. Schools, mosques, shopping centers, and civilians have been targeted.
It's been 7 years since the Syrian war started. Why do you think the Turkish military and the Turkish state took too long? Do you think it gave time to terrorist groups to entrench themselves along the Turkey-Syria border?
The situation in Syria dates back to 7 years ago and has evolved. Turkey asked for the removal of the PKK-PYD terror threat after the Daesh threat was cleared. But other countries did not show unity against the PYD-PKK terror group the way they fought together against Daesh. Turkey is fighting against Daesh and the PYD. We asked our strategic partners to support and cooperate with us in our fight against the PYD numerous times. They didn't help, and instead, they even hindered it. We have alerted all parties beforehand, but we have come to a point that Turkey has to run this operation to protect its citizens, even if it has to stand alone.
Now, rocket attacks are one thing, but towns like Kilis have faced terrorist attacks, bombings, and so on and so forth in the past as well. How afraid are you that as the PKK-YPG is squeezed in Afrin, there will be an intensity or attacks in places like Kilis might intensify?
Despite the rockets launched at our city, the people of Kilis are in solidarity with the state and its army, and they continue their daily lives. 2 days ago, I met two brothers. They were playing 20 meters from a building that was hit by a rocket. "Are you scared?" I asked. "No, we are not," they said. We need to think about this answer. We are responsible for these children and their future. The Turkish state cannot allow any organization to destroy these children's hopes. But life goes on as normal here. You can see people shopping. Our people are patient. At the same time, we've been hosting Syrians for 6 years. The population of Kilis has doubled, and now there are as many Syrians as Turks here. We are hosting 3.5 million Syrian brothers in Turkey.
Now, you're saying that Kilis is almost a microcosm, an example of how southern Turkey has changed since the Syrian conflict began. The population of this town has almost doubled, and most of these people are refugees from Syria. What is the long-term future of these Syrian refugees in Turkey and in places like Kilis?
After the terror ends and there is peace, a considerable amount of our Syrian brothers will return to their homes, but some others will get used to the democracy and sovereignty in Turkey and will choose to stay here. Our villagers have family on the other side of the border. They trade, they live in peace. I work in this region and I visit the towns in Afrin. People there, the Arabs, the Turkmens and Kurds, used to ask me, "When will the Turkish army come and save us?" These people are Arabs, Kurds, people from different ethnicities and religions. There is a considerable Kurdish population in Afrin. May God be with them. These people are prisoners of the fascist PKK terror group. They also ask, "When will Turkey save us?" I have seen this. I was in Azaz yesterday. People showed me love because, unlike others, we didn't go there to search for oil. We went there in the name of humanity to help those in need. When I walk around Azaz, I feel as secure as when I walk around Kilis. And when I see hope in people's eyes, I also feel happy and proud.
Now, we've seen in places like Jarablos, where there is no infrastructure, there were no schools or hospitals, that cities like Gaziantep and the administration there, the Belediyesi, took over administration in part of these areas, like providing healthcare, infrastructure, sewerage, water. Can we expect Kilis to play a similar role in Afrin, for example?
Two Turkish cities, Kilis and Gaziantep, have been assigned to rebuild the Euphrates Shields area across the border. Kilis is responsible for about 800,000 people in 5 Syrian cities, several villages and camps in Azaz, in Kobambe, and Mer. Our Ministry of Education has already provided schools for 100,000 students. We provide everything from uniforms, bags, and shoes to buildings. We repaired more than 150 schools. Turkey will always help those in need with AFAD, TIKA, Red Crescent, and other NGOs. If other places in Syria also ask for help with rebuilding, as governor of Kilis, I can say that other brother cities like Gaziantep, Hatay, Mardin, Sanliurfa, Hakkari, and Sırnak will help.
İnsanların yeniden hayata tutunmaları için her türlü desteği onlara rahatlıkla veririz.
Mehmet Bey, thank you so much.
Ben teşekkür ediyorum. Sağ olun.